I just want to get your thoughts on another key area of ESG, and that's diversity. So NASDAQ announced diversity targets for their boards of directors or companies that list on NASDAQ. The theme here, they seem to be trying to nudge companies along on the diversity issue and hiring women on the board. Linda, what did NASDAQ do, and how successful do you think that kind of nudging is going to be? Is that what we're going to be seeing in the future, that kind of action?
Well, the diversity push will only get stronger. I think the NASDAQ move is one example of that. Now, oddly, the progress actually has been extremely slow, even though we've already seen this kind of push for several years. So our research team at MSCI just published our annual Women on Boards Progress Report, which we've been doing since 2009. And what we've seen is actually there's been a slowdown in the rate of increase for female representation on boards, with a gain of only 0.6 percentage points among constituents of the MSCI ACWI Index. And if you take this kind of trend of progress over the past 4 years and you project it forward, it's going to take until like 2029 for women to comprise 30% of the corporate boards. So I think that the kinds of moves that you're seeing at NASDAQ and maybe among some of the larger institutional investors that are agitating in some ways to push progress along is because the progress actually has been pretty slow. So I definitely think that this is an area that will continue to get a lot of scrutiny.
So Linda, we hit briefly on environmental and we hit briefly on diversity. What else in 2021 are going to be hot themes? I mean, that seems to be very clear: environmental issues, climate particularly, as well as diversity. Those seems like very obvious hot topic buttons for 2021, particularly with the new administration coming in. But what else might be on the broad ESG palette that could come to the fore as a major issue? Anybody can jump in, but Linda, let me start with you.
Well, I think that diversity is the one that is really specific. However, the larger topic is really around inequality more generally, right? So COVID has had this effect of really shining a light on the health and the economic disparities in our society. We expect that the incoming administration's focus on economic inclusion and on social issues is going to mean that companies should not really take their social license to operate for granted. We have seen this year that investors, of all sizes, from the largest pension funds to retail investors, they care about how companies treat not just their workers and how diverse their workforce is, but whether their businesses prey on consumers or suppliers, or whether they actually create value that is shared across stakeholders. So we think that this is really actually going to amplify and intensify over the coming years. And in response, what we're seeing is that companies are going to get more creative about how they can actually better beef up their social credentials with investors and the public, and maybe actually get out of the crosshairs of policymakers. You're going to see, I think, growth in new types of financing instruments, like social impact bonds or sustainability bonds, and even sort of share issuances that are linked to sustainability goals. So these are ways that companies are taking to make a more direct link between its business and the social value that it brings more broadly.
Hey, Bob.
Okay, John, any finer addition?
Sorry.
Go ahead, Kim.
I was just going to say just one other thing on just one other thing that what Linda was talking about. If you think about the inclusiveness, and I'm looking at the big globe as a whole, 7.7 billion people, 4+ are connected, 3 are not connected yet. Again, it drives towards technology, connecting these people, bringing them into the ecosystem. We've all seen what a Siri or a smartphone does when you take it out to somewhere, to a small village in Africa, and all of a sudden there's somebody who may not be literate. All of a sudden they can move up the food chain dramatically by being able to talk and get things done. So I think, again, that's why it drives towards the future. Technology keeps playing a bigger and bigger role because it's enabling more inclusiveness and a broader reach.